Hi everyone, welcome back to another video in the Web Security Academy series. In today's video, we'll be covering lab number 10 in the Business Logic Vulnerabilities module titled Infinite Money Logic Flaw. If you do not have an account on the Web Security Academy, you can get one by visiting the URL portswigger.net/websecurity and clicking on the sign up button. I already have an account and I am logged in, so to access the exercise, I'm going to click on Academy. Select all labs, do a search on business logic vulnerabilities, and then go to lab number 10 titled Infinite Money Logic Flaw. All right, let's get started. This lab has a logic flaw in its purchasing workflow. To solve the lab, exploit the flaw to buy a lightweight leather jacket. You can log into your own account using the following credentials, and we're giving credentials of a regular user account. All right, so the target goal over here is to exploit the logic flaw in the purchasing workflow and then purchase the lightweight leather jacket. Let's access the lab. Now notice over here, this is the built-in browser in Burp, and so all my requests are already being passed in my Burp proxy. I am using the professional version of Burp because we will require using a macro and the intruder functionality in Burp, which is either not available in the community edition or heavily throttled. And so to complete this exercise, you do need the professional version. However, in the second part of the video, we will be scripting the exploit in Python. And so if you do not have the professional version of Burp, you could just follow along in the second part and script the exploit in Python. All right, the first thing that we're going to do is log into the account that we were given. So the password was Peter, hit login. Now notice over here you have a change email functionality and then a gift card functionality, and you could redeem your gift card. So that's interesting. Let's go to home right over here. And here we go. So you could buy a gift card for $10, and here's the jacket that we need to purchase to complete the exercise. However, if you look over here, the store credit is $100 and the leather jacket costs $1,337. So we definitely don't have enough credit to buy the leather jacket. So what we're going to do is just look at the application and see if there's any functionality in the application that we could potentially exploit. So you can see over here, there's a sign up to our newsletter. So let's test that. Let's say test.test.ca and hit sign up. You get a pop-up saying that you've got a coupon sign up 30 at checkout, likely to get 30% off the order. So that's interesting. Let's click OK. Now I'm wondering if that coupon applies on the $10 gift card. So instead of buying the gift card in $10, this way you would buy the gift card for $7. However, when you apply the gift card, you would be adding $10 to your store credit. So let's see if that's possible, and if it's possible more than once. Let's click on Add to Cart, go to our cart, and then apply the sign up 30 coupon, click Apply. Okay, interesting. So it does work on the coupon option. So this way, we only have to pay $7 for our coupon. However, we will be credited $10 to our store credit. So now we've got $100. Let's place order. It decreased $7 because we just bought a coupon. Let's copy the coupon right over here and then go to my account and apply it, redeem it, and it adds $10 to our store credit. Okay, definitely interesting. So now what I'm thinking is if it allows me to buy unlimited number of coupons, I could just keep increasing my store credit $3 at a time until I add an infinite or an arbitrary amount of money that I want. So let's purchase another gift card to see if it allows us to apply the coupon on it again. Okay, add to cart. Go to our cart and then sign up 30, apply. And it does allow me to buy another coupon at a discounted rate. So let's place order. And the coupon is this one right over here. Let's copy it, go to my account, put it in here, click redeem, and I have $106 of store credit. All right, so the business logic flaw over here is the fact that you could apply a coupon on a gift card and you could apply it an unlimited amount of time. So every time I do this process, I increase $3 to my store credit. And what I'm going to do is automate the attack first using Burp Suite Professional and then using a Python script in order to keep increasing $3 at a time until I have enough money to buy my jacket. So if we go to home right over here, we're going to do a little bit of math. You could see the jacket costs $1,337. And we already have, let's say, $100, which was the original amount that was in our store credit. And then we're adding $3 at a time. So we're going to say 3x. And this is the first time algebra is being applied in real life. So 1337 minus 100 is 1227 is equal to 3x. And then that means x is equal to 1227 divided by 3, which is close to 413 requests. So we need to perform the process 413 times in order to have enough money to buy our jacket. And that's why you can't do this manually. I mean, you could try 413 times manually, but it's much easier if you could just script the exploit. So we're going to go to Burp right over here. We're going to go to Settings and then Sessions. Now, depending on the version of Burp that you're using, you might need a different way to get to the Sessions tab in Burp, but the tab names is still the same. So we're going to click on Add right over here. We're going to go to Scope and say Include all URLs and keep the tool scope the same as it is. What this will do is it'll apply the macro and anything that is being run in the target, intruder, scanner, sequencer, and repeater. Now we will be using intruder, and so every time we run a request in intruder, our macro will run. So let's go to details right over here, click on add, and then run a macro, and then click add right over here. And essentially what we're going to do over here is add our gift card to the cart and then apply the coupon on it, and then check out our gift card and then confirm our order and then apply the gift card to our store credit. Once we have that sequence of steps, then we could use Burp Intruder to perform it 413 times. So let's go down. We're looking for Post Cart. Here it is. So this is where we're adding our gift card. And then we're looking for Post Cart Coupon. So if you're using a Mac, you could use Control and Command at the same time to select more than one request. And then we're looking for Post Cart Checkout to check out our discounted gift card. And then we need to confirm the order, which is this one right over here. And then we apply the gift card using the Post Gift Card Endpoint request. All right, this looks good. Click OK. So you can see over here, you should have 5 requests in your macro. Now what we're going to do is we're going to click on this one right over here and say Configure Item. And then we're going to add a parameter called gift card. And that would be the gift card that we just purchased. So it'll always be at the top of the list. So we're just going to select it over here and it'll apply regex in order to identify it. Now the reason we're doing that is because every time we purchase a new gift card, we're going to have a new gift card token or coupon that we can use, and that will always be in this place right over here, so the top of the list. And so we need to extract it from this request every time. So let's click OK. And then over here, we're going to say configure item. And for the gift card parameter that we just extracted, we're going to say derive from the previous response, and it would be response number 4. Now it's important that you always derive it from the previous response just so that you're not using the same coupon. If you're using the same coupon multiple times, it'll say that you already used up the coupon and you can't use it again. So you need to use the new coupon every time. So click OK. And then let's say test macro to see if it works. So far, so good. So you could see over here, you get a 302. And then over here, if we look at the response, let's go down. This is the new coupon that was applied. And so the macro extracts that coupon from this request and it uses it in the post gift card request. So you could see that over here, it's not using the previous coupon. It's using the one that we just purchased. All right, this looks good. Let's click OK. OK again. OK. Another OK, and then close this. And then just go to my account. Let's send this to intruder. Now in intruder over here, let's clear everything. And what we're going to do is we're going to say payloads is null payloads. And then we're going to perform this 413 times. So essentially what's happening over here is every time this request is made, so just to the My Accounts page, what it'll do is it'll run my macro, which selects the gift card, applies the coupon on the gift card, and then purchases the gift card, and then applies the gift card on my account. And it'll do that 413 times. Now, it's important that we do all the requests in sequence just so that we don't end up running out of store credit. And so we're going to go to resource pool over here, click on create new resource pool, and then maximum concurrent requests is 1. And this looks good. I believe there's not much else to do. So let's click on start attack and see if our store credit is increasing. If it's not, we're doing something wrong. And here we go. So with every request, it'll increase $3. Now multiple requests are being performed, but with every request, it'll increase $3. And what we're looking for is a value that is greater than 1,337 so that we could buy our leather jacket. Now, since we are performing 413 requests with a single thread, it will take some time. So what I'll do is I'll pause the video and then we'll be back once it's completed. And we're back. So the macro was run 413 times. So if we reload the page right over here, you should see I have 1,351 in store credit, and I only need 1,337 in order to purchase my jacket. So let's click on view details right over here, add to cart, and then purchase the jacket. So place order. And here we go. It says, congratulations, you solved the lab. All right, so we successfully completed the exercise by exploiting the business logic flaw using Burp Suite Professional. Now let's script it in Python. Now, before we do script it, notice over here I only have $14 in store credit because I just bought the leather jacket. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to run this macro just a few more times. So let's discard this so that I have enough money to test out my script. So if we go back to payloads right over here, I'm just going to run it, let's say 6 times. Or actually, let's do 10 times, just so that we have above $100 in store credit. Click on Start Attack. And this should be relatively quick. Let's go to Home. You could see it's $35. Now we're at $41, $47. And that was it. So it's not adding $10 at a time, it's adding $3 at a time. So my math was off. But $47 should be more than enough. If we ever need more, we could always apply it. So let's close this, discard, and go to our script. As usual, the first thing we're going to do is import the libraries we need. So import requests, import sys, import URL lib3, and then from BS4, import beautiful soup. And then we're also going to import the regex library because we're going to need that in order to extract the coupon from the response. All right, next let's disable insecure request warnings. So disable warnings, URL lib3.exceptions.insecure request warning. And then we're going to set our proxy settings so that all of our requests get sent to Burp. So we'll say all of the HTTP requests should be sent to HTTP 127.0.0.1 port 8080. So that's where Burp is running. And then same goes for HTTPS. That should be sent to HTTP 127.0.0.1 port 8080. All right, this looks good. Next, let's call our main method. So if name is equal to main, Then call the main method, and we'll define it right over here. So def main, if the length of the command line arguments, so argv, is not equal to 2, then print the usage instructions and the example instructions. So we'll start off with the usage instructions. That's the name of the program and then the URL. And the name of the program we take from the command line argument. So sys.argv 0. And then we also print the example instructions, which is the name of the program, www.example.com. And we take the name of the program from the command line arguments. So argv 0. And then we exit the program because the user ran it incorrectly. All right, so if you end up in this if clause over here where it prints the usage instructions and the example instructions, that means the program was run incorrectly and so it will terminate. Now let's assume that the user did provide the correct number of arguments. Then the next thing we're going to do is initiate our sessions object, so requests.session. And then we're going to create a variable called URL, which we take from the command line argument, so sys.argv1. And then we're going to call a function called byJacket that takes in the session object and the URL. Now, this function right over here is what will perform all the requests for us, including the automation that we did in the macro in Burp Suite Professional. So let's save and then define the function. So we'll say def byJacket. It takes in the session object and the URL. Now, the first thing we're going to need to do is log in as the regular account that we were given. So if we go to proxy right over here, we need to look for the login request. So it should be somewhere over here. And here we go. So that's the login request. Let's make this a little bit bigger. It's to the /login endpoint. It's a post request and it takes in 3 parameters. The username we know, the password we know, but the CSRF token is extracted from the previous request. Now the previous request is in the referrer header, so it's extracted from the /login endpoint. So that's the first thing we're going to do, which is extract the CSRF token. And this is going to be a long script because we've got a ton of requests that we need to perform. So to do that, we need the URL from where we should extract the token. So login URL is equal to the URL of the main application plus /login. And then the CSRF token is going to be taken from the return value of the function get CSRF token, which takes in the session object and the login URL. So in order to perform our request, we need to extract the CSRF token multiple times. And instead of implementing the logic multiple times within this function over here, we're just going to create a new function called getCSRF token that we can use and just keep calling every time we need a CSRF token. So over here, I'm going to say rest of code. And then we'll just define our CSRF function right over here. So def getCSRF token takes in the session object and a URL. In order to get the token, it's just a get request to the endpoint that is defined in the URL parameter. So we'll just say s.get takes in the URL. We're going to set verify to be equal to false because I don't want to verify TLS certificates, and proxies to be equal to proxies. And then we're going to use the beautiful soup library to extract the CSRF token. So we'll extract it from r.text, which is the response of the GET request, and then we'll parse it using HTML parser. And then we'll say CSRF is equal to soup.find. And essentially now we need to tell the script how to find the CSRF token. So if we go to the get login request and we look for CSRF in the response, you could see it's in an input element that has the name CSRF. And the value we're looking for is in the value attribute. So the way you would look for that is say, look for the input element, which has a name, CSRF, and then the value that I want is in the value attribute. So the string that I want is in the value attribute, and then simply return CSRF. And that's all. So essentially over here, this will extract the CSRF token from the /login endpoint and then save it in a variable called CSRF token. And now we could perform the rest of our login requests. So let's say login as the user that we were given. So we'll print over here, logging in as the user. And then we need to define the parameters that are passed in the post request. So let's say data login is equal to, let's look over here. So the first one is the CSRF parameter, and that's equal to the CSRF token that we just extracted. And then the second one over here is username, which is equal to the username that we were given, and then password, which is equal to the password that we were given. All right, this looks good. Now we just need to perform the post request. So s.post, it takes in the login URL. Data is equal to data login, which we just defined. Verify is set to false. And then proxies is equal to proxies. All right. And then we need to make sure that we properly logged in. So we're going to say the response is equal to a variable res. And then we're going to look for the string logout in the response. If it's there, then we're going to print successfully logged in as the user that we were given. Otherwise, we'll print could not log in as user, and then we'll exit the program because this is an authenticated vulnerability. And so you do need to be able to log in order to exploit this vulnerability. All right, this looks good. So we performed the first request, which is login as the user. Now we need to write the portion that we automated using a macro, which is adding a gift card, redeeming the coupon, purchasing the coupon, confirming the order, and so on. So to do that, we're going to say for I in range. And over here, the idea is to perform it 413 times. However, I want to test out my script first before I perform it 413 times. So I'm just going to say one time, or actually let's do two. And then we're going to do step number one, which is add gift card. Now to do that, let's look at the request that we performed to add a gift card. So it was /cart. And if you look over here, it's a post request to the /cart endpoint, and it takes in three parameters: the product ID, the redirect, and then the quantity. So let's say cart URL is equal to URL plus the /cart endpoint. And then we'll define our data parameters, add gift card to be equal to all of this over here. So let's copy this. Put it in here and just put it in the correct syntax. So first one is product ID, and that's equal to 2. And then second one is redirect, and that's equal to product. And then third one is quantity, and that's equal to 1. All right, this looks good. Now we just perform the request. So R is equal to s.post, and it takes in the cart URL. Data is equal to add gift card, which we just defined, and verify is equal to false. And then we're going to set proxies to be equal to proxies so that the request gets sent to burp, just in case I need to debug it. So that's the first request that we need to perform. The second one is redeeming the coupon. So to do that, we need to go back to burp and see the request that is being performed. So It's this one right over here. It's a post request to the /cart/coupon endpoint, and it takes in three parameters, the coupon, which we know, but the CSRF token we don't know, and that's taken from the /cart endpoint. And so the first thing we're going to say is redeem coupon URL is equal to URL plus /cart/coupon. And then we're going to obtain the CSRF token using the function that we created right over here. And that's why it was important to create the function, just so that you don't have to implement the logic multiple times in the function. So we'll say CSRF token is equal to get CSRF token, takes in the session object, and this time it takes in the cart URL. And then we're going to define the parameters over here. So redeem, let's say coupon, is equal to the parameters over here. So let's copy this, put it in here, just the CSRF parameter, and that's equal to the CSRF token that we just extracted. So CSRF token, and then we've got the coupon parameter, which is equal to sign up 30. All right, this looks good. Now we're ready to perform the post request. So we'll say R is equal to s.post. It takes in the redeem coupon URL. Data is equal to redeem coupon. Verify is equal to false, and proxies is equal to proxies because we want the request to be sent in burp. All right, this looks good. Now, once you've redeemed the coupon, you need to purchase the coupon at the discounted price. So we'll say purchase coupon. And I did mention this is a ton of requests, and so the script is going to be a little bit long. So let's see the request to purchase a coupon. It would be this one right over here. So it's to the /cart/checkout endpoint, and it's a post method, and it takes in the CSRF parameter. So we're going to call our function one more time. So let's do that over here. So we'll start off by defining the URL. So purchase item URL is equal to URL plus /cart/checkout. Now for the CSRF token over here, it's taken from the /cart endpoint. And so actually we don't need to call it one more time because it's already taken from the /cart endpoint over here. And so we just need to define the data parameter itself. So we'll say purchase coupon is equal to CSRF. And it just takes in the CSRF token that we extracted in the previous request. And then we'll just perform the post request. s.post. It takes in the purchase item URL. Data is equal to purchase coupon. And then verify is equal to false because we don't want to verify TLS certificates. And proxies is equal to proxies because we want our request to be sent to burp. All right, this looks good. Now we've purchased the coupon. Next, you need to confirm the order, which is this one over here. But we don't actually need to perform this request because when the script performs the post request, which we just defined right over here, you could see it'll automatically load this URL over here, which is the confirmation URL. So all we need to do is view the response of this request, which would be the response of this request right over here, and then extract the token from it. So if we go down right over here, you could see we need to extract this code over here. So what we'll do is we'll add another comment, say confirm order and extract gift card. So we'll say res is equal to r.text, so the response of the request. And then the gift card over here is equal to re.findAll. So we're going to be using regex to perform this. And essentially what we're doing is we're using a regex for this. So let's copy this entire thing right over here. And then we need to put it in regex terminology. So let's remove all the space right over here. And then we're going to say new line, because there's a new line over here. And then it'll be a bunch of characters, which are just really spaces for me. And then we hit TD. And then after that, I'm also looking for any number of characters. So I'm matching on all of this. Dot star. And I believe that's it. So let's escape this. And I don't think there's anything else that we need to escape. All right, and then we'll say res right over here, which is the response of the request. And I think it's a good point to run our script to confirm that it's working properly. So we're first going to print the whole thing, which you'll see is not the correct result. We need to extract it from the grouping that is in this result over here. So let's save. And then let's go back over here. This likely timed out. And it did. So let's open a new instance of it. And then go to terminal. New terminal. Python 3. Business Logic Flaw Lab 10. And then copy the URL over here. Paste it in here. Remove the trailing slash. Hit enter. Okay, perfect. So you could see over here, it's printing out what it's identifying over here using the regex functionality. And the idea over here is we always want the first coupon because the newly added coupon is always added at the top. So we're going to say we need the first element in the list, which is 0 over here. Since an array starts with 0. And then within that element itself, we need the second one, which again, if it starts with 0, that would be number 1. So grouping number 1. And so now if we print gift card, let's save it again, clear it, and we print it one more time, you could see it prints the new coupon. So I'm noticing over here it printed on 2 coupons, which is not good. We definitely needed to print only on 1. So let's run it again to see what could have potentially happened. Oh, and I know why, because actually what's happening is we're running this twice, and that's why it's doing that. Now we might have run out of money in our cart because we're not actually applying the coupons. So let's log in. Let's go to home or my account actually, and then log in. And we still have $58, so we're still good to go. All right, this is a good sign. That means we're properly extracting the gift card. Let's move this right over here. And now just apply the gift card to our credits. So let's say add to credit. And to do that, let's go to burp again and look at the request that was responsible for performing that request. So it should be the slash gift card endpoint, which I'm not seeing right over here. Here we go. So it's this endpoint right over here. You could see it takes in a CSRF token and then the gift card that we just extracted. And it's to the slash gift card endpoint. So let's define the URL, apply gift card. URL is equal to URL plus slash gift card. And then we need to extract the CSRF token. So CSRF token is equal to get CSRF token. Takes in the session object. And you could see over here the CSRF token is taken from the request at the referrer header, so the slash my account page. So we'll just say URL plus slash my account. It'll extract it from there and then save it in a variable called CSRF token. So now we just need to define all the parameters that are taken in the post request. So let's say card is equal to this entire thing right over here. So let's copy this, put it in here. First one is the CSRF token, which we just extracted and saved in a parameter called CSRF token. And then the second one is gift card, which we also extracted and saved in a variable called gift card. This looks good. Now we just perform the request. So R is equal to s.post, apply gift card, URL, and then data is equal to apply gift card, and verify is equal to false. And also let's say proxies is equal to proxies. All right, let's save this. Now we just have one more request to perform, which is buying the lightweight lead leather jacket once we run this 413 times. But again, I don't want to run it 413 times before I confirm that it works by viewing all the requests that it performs in my proxy. So let's run it one more time. We'll clear this and then run it over here. You could see it's performing all the requests that we need. And if we go back over here, we should see more money in our store credit, and we do. So everything is working as intended, which means that we could add our final request over here. So that would be outside of the for loop. So this is our for loop right over here. It would be outside of the for loop, and what we're going to do is add the jacket to our cart. And to do that, so if we go to cart, and let's just search on this. So /cart/checkout, click apply. It should actually be the /cart endpoint first. So let's just go to /cart. And this is product ID 2, which is applying the gift card. We're looking for product ID 1. So actually we don't need to search for it. We could just perform the same requests that we did right over here. So the first one is adding the item to our cart. So let's copy this, put it in here. And if we look at the request in the proxy, you could see that what you're adding is product ID number 1, and you just want quantity number 1. And so that's all fine. This is already defined before, so you could remove it. We'll keep this at cart URL over here. Let's change this a little bit. So let's say add jacket, and then we'll change that over here to add jacket, set verify to false and proxies to be equal to proxies. So this is fine. And then we just purchase a jacket. So let's say purchase jacket. And that would be when we purchased our coupon right over here. So let's copy this and put it in here. So this is already defined for us. Now we do need a CSRF token, so we'll say CSRF token is equal to get CSRF token, and it's from the cart URL. And then purchase coupon parameter just has the CSRF token in it. And this looks good. So purchase coupon. And in this case, we're actually just purchasing the jacket just so that we don't confuse it. And that's defined over here. So it's stored in the session. You don't actually need to put it in this request over here. Verify is equal to false. Proxies is equal to proxies. This looks good. And then we're going to say if congratulations is in r.text, then print successfully completed the exercise. Otherwise, print the exploit failed. And then we're just going to exit the program because the exploit failed. So we'll say sys.exit -1. Okay, this looks good. I just want to confirm that this is fine. And now all we have to do is just switch this to the range that we need. So let's just say 450 to be safe. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to remove the proxy setting from all of them. just so that it's not going through my proxy, which will significantly slow down the process. Now that I've already tested it, I know it works, and so I don't need to really debug it using my proxy. So anything in the for loop will be removed from the proxy setting because we're performing those requests 450 times. Let's remove this. Okay, and let's save it. Hopefully there's no errors. I don't know if we're still running the application, and it's still running. That's good. It hasn't timed out. Now let's start running it. And again, hopefully there's no errors. Let's see if the store credit is increasing. Okay, so far so good. Now it will take some time to perform all 450 requests. So what I'll do is I'll pause the video and then we'll resume when the script has successfully finished and bought the jacket. And we're back. So you can see over here, the script successfully completed. And if we reload this right over here, the store credit is just $77 because we did purchase the jacket, and it says, "Congratulations, you solved the lab." All right, so we successfully completed the exercise by exploiting the vulnerability using Burp Suite Professional and then automating the exploit in Python. In the next lab, we'll look at another case of a business logic vulnerability.